Hello again. Well, I discovered something else about my so-called life here is I've got to organize myself a little bit better. But you'll see why in a second. These are my, now maybe I don't have to organize myself. I should have started with this drawer, or as they say in Massachusetts, this draw. They don't. These are A's and they go up to C. And this is Aiken Lambert, or as one of my pen suppliers, antique dealer. Hey Pierre, I got some more Aiken Lambert. Yep. I always used to think when I first started collecting pens, I used to think Aiken Lambert and Waterman were somehow related because they were all so very similar and similar kinds of nibs and but they're not Blanche. They have a very weird feed, Aiken Lamberts do. They look like they would not be very functional. This one, because it's bigger, it's just this sort of rectangular thing. I also thought their clips, maybe that was it too, their clips, riveted clips, made me think of Waterman. But their clips always looked like they were bent. Well, they're supposed to be like that. So that always sort of surprised, like why doesn't the ball... Anyway, it just looked weird to me. Now, what does this one say? Meyer and Hallfeimer lever. So Aiken Lambert made that Alco, A-L-C-O, made that pen for some other company. Alco, Mercantile, Aiken Lambert Company. Sometimes the nibs say Alco, sometimes they say Aiken Lambert. They're hard rubber pens. Again, they're very Waterman-like in my head. I can't help but think of Watermans when I see these. Compliments of the Epworth era. I wonder what the Epworth era is. That sounds quite interesting, that Epworth era. Mercantile in quotes. Sometimes, oh, this is in quotes too. No. Does this say mercantile in quotes? It does. They're all in quotes. I had never noticed that before. Another Aiken Lambert, mercantile in quotes. Number 6 Aiken Lambert pen. It's pretty big. But their feeds, let me just show you what the feed looks like here. The feed is thin like that. And it seems like if the ink got on the outside of that feed, it would drop down on your paper. Now, what kind is this? Capital. Aiken Lambert Company, Capital Cabinet. Needs a new sack. It's a thumb filler or pressure filler, pressure bar. Aiken Lambert. See, again, this looks like a Waterman. They must have had a spy at the Waterman Company, or vice versa, whichever came first. R. Wyman. Oh, this is a Etonia. Oh. Let me look under this. This might have been made for the Etonia Company by Aiken Lambert, but I don't see any It does have a patent date here that I'm not going to bother with, but it does also have that feed. Now, the fact that it has that feed doesn't necessarily mean anything, because I could have, somewhere down the line, put this thing together from parts I had. And okay, this is another pen that has quotes around it. Record, in quote. The Aiken Lambert Company. It's written on the cap, in this case. Record. So this is an eyedrop filler. Now, did they market this differently than they marketed the other one? I don't know. I'd have to do research, which I'm too lazy to do. But was this made for accountants or something? I don't think this belongs here. I think this is a Binney and Hayes. Goodyear Pen Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, it certainly isn't. This belongs in a different drawer. A different draw. And this is a Binney and Hayes. Okay, put that there. Aiken Lambert. Oh, this is a Capital Lady Dainty. Really? Capital Lady Dainty. It's Mother's Day. Buy Mom a Capital Lady Dainty pen by the Elko. Oh, see, there's another Binney and Hayes. Now, why? I have a drawer full of Binney and Hayes that are not this drawer. Or are they in this drawer? I thought these were in a different drawer. B and H. B and H. Maybe this is where they belong. So I moved them here, thinking that put this one this way, so I don't get it confused. Then we go to the C's. Binney and Hayes. The first 16th Annual Banquet, Lieutenants Benevolent Association, February 22nd, 1922. Lieutenants Benevolent. Now there's no apostrophe in lieutenants, either before or after the S, so I don't understand. Maybe it was the name of someone. Lieutenants. No, it doesn't make any sense. Carter. We had an apostrophe ectomy there. Carter pens were made in this fair city, Boston, and very high quality pen. They also had a spring-loaded clip like the Chiltons had. I like Carter's. My late friend John Vale collected Carter's. Ooh, this one had a nice crack in it. Super Right. Oh, yeah, Carter made Super Right pens under a different name that they may be marketed to at a lesser price point. This is quite a lovely oversized Carter pen. I had a duplicate of this that I sold to that John Vale man, and except it had Charles F. Mundhank written on the side of it, and in big white engraved letters. And why I didn't keep that one and sell this one to John, I don't know. Maybe I didn't like the name Mundhank. These pens, I do have Carter's. I don't know if I have it here. Carter pens sometimes are sold in these little plastic cases, ladies' sets. This is not quite a match because this requires a clip on it, a little band. But it seems to me that I also have Carters that don't have clips and are not even marked, and they were used by the Carter employees to do their bookkeeping. Like, we're not going to give our own employees a pen that we could sell to someone. Let's give them these ones that are not marked. Carter. Okay, Carter. The Carter's Ink Company. I wonder if Carter's made ink before they made pens. I have a feeling they did. When I first moved to Boston, if I was in Boston and looked over to Cambridge, I would see this big neon sign that said Carter's back in the olden days. I think one of the reasons I don't like Carter's, I didn't like their clip at this era when they became more modern and streamlined and stuff. I just thought that this looked kind of dumb. I preferred the humpy clip. They had nice nibs. They were more firmer than flexible. This clip I kind of liked. It was only vaguely three-dimensional. It just has a slight curve to it and this sort of tongue, like a flattened tongue. You don't need a ball. All you need is this little upturned sort of scoop thing. Diamond Metal Pen Company. Well, that doesn't belong in that pen. Signet pen, sold at the Rexall store. So this is a pen that Carter made specifically for Rexall to sell, and there's a big S on the nib. He also made a pen, I think, called the Superior pen. Okay, let's move this down here. These are Carter nibs, I presume. This one is missing its cap lip. Extra, when you post the pen on the back, it seems extra long, which is kind of interesting. This little, it has a lever issue. Number 5. I never understood the numbering system that Carter had. It's like you need the Enigma device to translate it. But this is neat because it's quite fat, but it's very short. So this might have been for a watch chain vest pen. Carter Premier, is that what that says? Patented. Again, a nice non-banded pen without even a line there, which is very elegant, I think. Okay, now we're back in the Chiltons. See, I should have started with this drawer. Or these are all Crockers. Maybe that's okay. These are all Crockers. I thought that, and Crocker and Chilton are related, but because these are Crocker, even though they're not in alphabetical order, they're next to each other. This is the drawer above the one I just showed you. So the Crocker pen. Now the Crocker was made by a company that later became or branched off to or whatever the Chilton Pen Company. Seth Crocker, son Chilton, took over the company and changed the name, or something like that. Zane, was that his name? Zane Crocker, not Seth Crocker? I'm forgetting. improved Crocker pen. Okay, so let me explain how the Crocker pen works. Now this is improved. Why is it improved? That doesn't seem an improvement to me. Get rid of that sack. Huh. There's supposed to be a hole there, I would think. Oh, is there a hole there? Okay. All is well with the world. So, the first Crocker, or no, this is sort of late. First we started here. This, you'd pull this out, unscrew this, and you pull this out and you do that. And that would, let me find one that has a sack that isn't broken. There. You pull this out and you do that, and that squeezes the sack with this nut at the end. And the nut is called, that's called the nifty nut. And this pen, Crocker, so this has a lever filling Crocker, which is relatively rare. All very weird. Here's another nifty nut pen. Again, these, oh, I've got two of these, both of them. Another nifty nut. Nifty nut. Nifty nut. These are all nifty nuts except for this one, which I will explain in a second. But wait, there's more. So this clip, as you can see, is fugly, but it's fugly for a reason. See this thing right here? When it's in your pocket, you can't pull it out of your pocket. You have to push that down and then pull it out. This is a emergency brake. This brake needs a brake job. It's missing its spring to make it go down. So how am I going to fix that? I guess it's probably just a piece of spring wire. That it's not an actual spring. But there's a gimmick that the Crocker Pen Company, Ink-Tite, T-I-T-E, Boston, another Boston pen. It seems to me Zane was a name of a child. Was it Seth Crocker, though, was Crocker, but maybe Zane was another child of the Crocker family. Write your answers below. I don't know. So this is a missing link. Well, it's not exactly a missing link. Oh, here's another one. See this little thing that sticks up? Crocker Ink-Tite. Another Ink-Tite. So to fill these pens, you were supposed to put this in your mouth and blow. And that pressure going through, air pressure going through into that hole would depress the sack. And you would fill the pen with your mouth. And that's pretty cool. But some people felt that was a little too orally fixation-y or something, or unhygienic. So they actually included in the sale of these things, when they made this little nipple thing come out, a little bulb that you would put on the end of this and then squeeze. So to me it seems much less elegant than sticking this pen in your mouth. But that pressure system that they were using, it certainly was the cheapest pen to fill. They didn't have to build a lever or a nifty nut or anything. You just drill a hole in the back of the pen. Ink-Tite, So I don't know which came first, the nifty nut or this thing. But I don't care which came first. That's for someone else to write about. So there you go. Yet another tray full of things. Now I didn't, as you could see, I did not write with a single one of these. So let me find one that I can write with. Do I remember? Oh, here's another Zane. I've got two Zanes. There's a certain thinness to some of these pens that I like. The pen seems longer and more slender than their counterparts in the pen world. I kind of like that thing, even though they again feel balanced more toward the back. I think Crocker's made pretty darn good nibs. This one says Crocker. Crocker number 5. Oh, this one says Zane on it. Zane on the nib. So I think Zane was for Zane. Really nice nib on this one. You're not even seeing it. For God's sake. Okay, I'm going to do a little drawing. I have to show you something here that I haven't thrown up because I thought it would be interesting to draw. You see that? Is this going to be interesting to draw? It's just a gob of packing tape, and which is still sticky, sticking to the pens. Okay, I'll just pretend that that's a still life. And of course, between the still life and my paper and my pen is this camera, so I'm leaning all the way over. And the reason I'm drawing this, it's spilling ink, is because it doesn't have a sack in it, I guess. It's a nice rubbery nib, good for writing, good for drawing. Nice and springy, and because it's this short, stubby pen, get out of my way. Get out of my way. It's like that newspaper that gets in W.C. Fields' way at the golf course. There's something, the shortness and the fatness of this pen has this bulldoggedness feel to me, and it makes me want to be aggressive. Whereas this pen, with the long, slender elegance to it, this makes me want to write. Even if the nibs were identical, this pen in my hand, because of the weight is now more toward the back, the pen is lifting up a little bit, and the slenderness in my hand makes me not want to be as aggressive. So again, as I've said many times before, I do allow the pen to tell me what to do. Now this nib on this pen is entirely without any, well, if I press down a lot, it's slightly flexible, but this is very inflexible nib, which again sort of is bulldoggy-like to me. It's not going to give up. It's just going to hold its ground and growl. This one, I see that there's red on the end of this, which just dipped it into the water so you can see that this last had red ink in it. When I do fill pens with color, I often will put red in a pen that has some sort of reddishness to it, like this one. And if it's a blue pen, I'll put it in a blue ink, I'll put it in a bluish pen, just to remind me what color ink is in it. And because I've got lots of pens, I can do that. I don't really like orange ink, so the orange pens usually have red. If I'm going to put a color in them, they're going to be red. Is this going to be bulldoggy? Oh, it doesn't have a nib. Did I have Carter nibs here? I thought I had Carter nibs. Does this fit? LaBeouf. Is that what that says? Where's my loop? Oh, it's right in front of me. LaBeouf. That doesn't belong here. What does this one say? LaBeouf again. I guess this drawer must have had LaBeoufs before I alphabetized them. Maybe this is a Carter nib. Too big for this pen. Oh, maybe it isn't. Fits it. What do you know? Slid right in like it belonged there. Looks much too big, but it fits. So let's see how it writes. I'm dipping it in black ink. Should be in red ink. Pretty stiff. Bulldoggy. Not as bulldoggy as this one, but bulldoggy enough. Okay, I've got to put the LaBeoufs with the LaBeoufs. LaBeouf. Move my Zanes down the road here. Okay, room for a few more Carter pens. Thanks for watching. Bye.